I've been following the legendary series by More Pegasus for, I don't know. I think I got into it like a month after iDrubs dropped his, you know, content cop, and since then I've been addicted to the series. It's almost been going for a year, almost with daily episodes, and it's just an enjoyable ride, an absolutely enjoyable ride. So yeah, I'm gonna be watching it today because I didn't get to check it out today. I've been busy with other stuff, so I'm gonna force you all to watch it with me. That's what we're gonna do. We're checking out the legendary series, episode probably 290.
Welcome back to a series so demon time, even Mizkif subscribed. In today's video, Hassan is now desperately begging politicians to come on his stream. He is creaming himself after somebody told him the governor of California accepted his collab, only to find out it's not confirmed. Pathetic streamer and master of demon time, Mizkif is back. He is breaking down, crying on stream that his reputation is ruined. This is after streamer Emiru accused him of SA blackmail and abuse. In the ongoing defamation case, her lawyers argue that her essay was her experience and a statement of opinion and not fact. Twitter is going back and forth between supporting and clowning on Mizkif. People are bringing up all the times he slandered other people and had no sympathy for anybody else. Attorney Legal Mindset has given his legal analysis of the situation, going through Emiru's statements and the likely results. He brings up Asmongold and whether or not this affects his case. He talks about Hassan's defamation case against a New York City councilwoman regarding the purchase of explosives and drones from China. Apparently, he has virtually no chance of winning. Subscribe or you get assaulted with 10,000 plushies. You're cocked.
Let's up those numbers!
There's so much lore going on. Everyone needs to go back and rewatch the entire series. Like, it is enjoyable just seeing how these people have destroyed their own lives entirely. It's like, if you want to create content, it's like something you watch and like things never to do. Just never to do. It is great.
Now let's begin. Right, welcome back everybody to Unemployed at 5. Right, so Hassan is now begging two politicians to appear on his stream, particularly the governor of California, Gavin Newsom, and this is just beyond pathetic. And basically Hassan is groveling at the feet of this guy, trying to get some political power here, and he's not even a fan of him. Considering he makes a big distinction between regular Democrats and liberals and himself, he is the unique left flank, of course, the terrorist glazer here. Nobody has caught up to his communist speed. So he recorded this message, Hassan's message to Gavin Newsom, Big Gavy Gav.
I know you and I, Big Gav. Listen, Big Gavy Gav. I'm talking to you and you only. Everybody else tune out. Everybody else tune out of the broadcast. This is just...
The thing is, he does this for performative the entire time. You know it. The only time I do that is because I am talking to you all. I am not singling out someone who's obviously not going to observe. You send them a DM. You send them a direct message. You're literally signal boosting your own content and basically having your drones, because he has a cult following, like literally a drone mindset following. Anything he says or anyone that attacks him, his drones will attack them. So it's one of those things where he's like literally saying something, so his drones will attack and be like, oh, you should be talking to this person. You should, he knows what he's doing. It's just, you don't do this kind of stuff on camera unless you're trying to make a spectacle of it. That's what he does. I mean, he's a clown.
Between me and Big Gav, gruesome, Governor Gavin Newsom. It's just you and me right now, baby. Listen to my voice. You want to make this pivot to the left? You know where to come, okay? You know where to come.
I'm gonna come.
Come to me, Gavin. Come to me. Let's have a conversation. I am sincerely interested in seeing what you're about. You've been my governor for as long as I can remember. I paid a lot of taxes in this fucking state, okay? I make a good amount of money here. I'm asking you not just as a tax-paying citizen, but as someone who wants to really understand where you're coming from. Now that you are pivoting as a radical visionary, singing the praises of Yahya Sinwar. You just did the Adam Friedland show. Many people call that the millennial Bill Maher. Come on, the millennial Jon Stewart. Let's have a discussion. You're hanging out with the Pod Johns? I hang out with the Pod Johns.
Bro, honestly, what the fuck are you doing? Come to me, Gavin. Big Gavy Gav. Bro, you're such a goddamn weirdo. Never bring the mic close to your mouth again. In fact, go offline entirely. I don't know why you're doing this shit. You're not talking to Asmongold. I know you usually do this back and forth with him, and you think it's really cute because you think you're in some sort of lover's quarrel or something. You know, later you're gonna sort it out in the bedroom, but this is like a complete stranger, like a politician. I don't think this works in the real world, man. Also, brilliant logic. He goes, I've paid paid a lot of tax, so therefore come on my show. And we all know why you pay this tax is because you choose to stay in Hollywood because you have very fond memories there, right? It's probably the first time you ever shocked your dog, right? You know, so you probably don't want to give up those core memories. Real special stuff, obviously. But how pathetic is it? This guy just groveling at the feet of every politician, desperate to have some level of political impact because he knows at the end of the day, he's just a Twitch streamer who is unable to actually exercise any meaningful political power. Now, yes, he can sway like 5% of the population, 5% of the loonies into voting for some regard. But I feel like if you're even a remotely smart politician, you would stay miles and miles away from Diddy Piper.
Don't
here,
want to
right?
be affiliated.
The only votes you're going to get from him is like a lunatic terrorist, essentially. But I feel like you lose.
Or you do what Mom Donnie spoke with him and did like a stream with him and then disowned him like shortly after. I mean, that's what you have to do. You literally have to do that kind of stuff. I know it is out of topic, but that guy's accent sounds gay. Mine? I mean, for sure. For sure. Or you mean Pegasus is, he's from Singapore, or he's in Singapore. So who knows? Who knows? But yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's just like he always tries to get clout. Get clout. And that's all he ever really does. He tries to, he'll make buddy with anyone that has like a big stream, but anyone that has a small kind of following, he will not even talk to them, not even platform them, nothing, unless he can get something out of them. That's technically how he completely runs. He's completely narcissistic.
More votes because every sane person will see that, oh, you're interacting with this fucking lunatic here, so I'm just gonna tune out and not take you seriously at all. I'm not sure why anyone would be upset at this, to be honest. Half of the Democrat Party wants to hear this conversation happen, and the other half has said they will vote blue no matter who, so it's all good, right? Yeah, this colossal regard here thinks that half of liberals watch Hassan or something. I mean, you gotta be stupid at that point. It's a fringe cultist of like 15 to 30k people who have just been completely brainwashed. Can't figure out if he's a lol cow or actually a horror cow due to his net negativity to society. Oh, are you telling me you don't enjoy the Hassan Biker stream where he tells you about the explosives you can get from China?
You really don't need suicide bombing anymore. Just make fucking drones. You can purge them.
You know, that's the funny thing. It's like he hates everything about America, but would never be allowed to say this really anywhere else in the world. Anywhere else in the world. The one place with like the most amount of free speech is here in the United States, where you can say the most heinous things. The only things that aren't counted under free speech are like threats of violence, incites to kill, you know, those kinds of things, which obviously is protected speech, or not protected speech, that's not the right term, but like censored speech. You can't threaten somebody's life. You just can't. You do that in public, you get a restraining order. For some reason, there's like this weird dichotomy online where people feel like because it's online, it doesn't mean anything. When at the same time, the people who their actions online should affect them in the real world, because normally people will pretend to be something online which they wish they were in the real world. And if you're inciting acts of violence, that obviously means something that you wish you were more that type of person, when you can't be in the real world because it's not accepted in the real world. But yeah, he needs to, like, everybody wants him out of the US. Anyone with a rational brain is just like, yeah, he doesn't belong here.
The online marketplace. Like, China literally sells explosive ordnance delivery mechanisms
where he tells you how the evil dictator dying, who was oppressing thousands and thousands of people, is actually a bad thing. Stay away from this cancer, Gavin. This is the type of cancer you can't even trade with chemo. You have to cut it out. Hurro. Didn't this guy praise the 9/11 attacks? Why, yes, he actually did. And his favorite politician had to disavow him for it.
I find the comments that Hassan made on 9/11 to be objectionable and reprehensible.
And what's funny is Mom Donnie is basically finishing what happened on 9/11. He's destroying the entirety of New York. He's literally running it into the ground, and there's nothing you can really do about it. It is just crazy. Hassan defended Pakistan and terror who killed innocents, and well, yeah, anything that involves any kind of terror organization or any group that absolutely despises America, he's all for. Like in any battle, everyone knows, any battle, any kind of war, any kind of anything, you look at the side that's against America, that's the side he backs. That's the side he backs. It's just like, you can have issues in the nation you grew up, but the only way you're a millionaire is because of the United States. It has nothing to do with anything else. He's a freaking capitalist, like to a massive extent.
this country.
Big Gavy Gav, now that is supreme gay energy. Yeah, I don't know what the hell he was doing there. That was some sort of innuendo, okay? I don't know what you get up to in your free time, Hassan. Big Gavy Gav, it's not June yet. Why are you gay? The relevant desperation dies from cringe. Moving on to Hassan creaming his pants, thinking that this Gavin Newsom guy accepted his collab. But turns out he just sort of hand-waved it, going, yeah, totally, I'll totally come sometime. It's like when my mom tells me to get a master's degree and go back to university.
It's like, yeah, of course. I'll get back to it. I'll get back to it. I'm so glad my parents weren't like that, because in the US, the degree really means nothing. Next to nothing. There's a reason why a lot of places like to hire outside of the US, because the majority of the people here have like women's studies degree or some kind of nonsensical education about sexual arts, things that literally make no sense. There is no real definition to it, and it's not going to take you anywhere, and then they end up a bartender or a barista. And that's as far as they can go in their career. So yeah, doctorates, engineers, those kinds of things actually take you places.
Surely the guy who's been a YouTuber for 7 years and perpetually unemployed is gonna go back to college, a place he shit talked for 5 billion years, right? Totally, surely. Yes, Mom, surely I'm going tomorrow to waste another 5 years and then earn 100 times lesser anyways. Yes, lovely, sure. Hassan prematurely officially announces Gavin Newsom collab without an actual confirmation. Piker also responds to chatter saying Newsom associating with make people hate him.
I don't have China on the phone. Gavin Newsom has officially said yes to coming on the broadcast. This will be an absolute showdown. A conversation that has taken years in the making. My governor, gruesome governor Gavin Newsom, has agreed to coming on the Hassan broadcast. I will go easy on him, and we will, I think, have a very productive conversation. I love the Democratic Party, and
He will go. The funny thing is he can't even debate, I guess they're called slop tubers. Like he lost Ethan Klein, who's a comedian, first and foremost. He lost to Willie Mack Show, who basically does like slop commentary, like what I'm checking out. And he just can't. He can't. He doesn't have the mindset. He doesn't have the, unless he's debating someone like Asmongold, who Asmongold isn't confrontational to begin with. He just isn't. That he'd easily smoke him because he's just saying all this nonsense, and Asmongold's just like, okay, sure. Thanks for telling me. I didn't know that. That's basically how it would go. Other than that, he gets smoked. He has no hard-hitting kind of comments.
love my governor.
Or questions.
Governor Gavin Newsom. I asked him to ask him, and he asked, and he said yes. Here is the clip.
They're at TwitchCon. I'm meeting with gamers and streamers. I'm doing Fortnite Fridays.
Would you go on Hassan's show? Twitch? Speaking of which, sounds like you might.
Yeah, it's just said the past. And the point is, I've just.
He's not. I thought that was a firm yes. He was not into that at all. Never mind. Okay, we might have been wrong. We might have gotten a little too excited. The way Jack presented it to me made it seem like he asked him head straight on, and he said yes. He was flubbing a little bit, dude. Oh no. He's like, yeah, bro, he can sell his book on my stream too. I'll read it. I don't know how to read, but I'll try to learn. I'll try to learn how to read. If they were being genuine, they'd be hyped because they think he'll own you like Meatball Ron. Yeah, I don't understand why there's any issue with coming on my stream. Like, if we have disagreements, then he destroys me, right? Like, let's make it happen. Let's make it happen.
There is no disagreeing with you. Anytime someone starts to actually make a logical argument with you, you rave, you yell. You did it to Willie Mack. You did it with Ethan Klein. You do it to your commenters when they basically call you out on your BS. You start to get mad. You ban them. There's no discussion discussing actually having a conversation. I've gotten too much into this lore. It is way too fascinating, especially when it's put in like a packageable format by what they're called slop tubers. But it's so enjoyable to kind of watch it and just see how brain rotted and hypocritical these people are. It's just like they don't have any morals. They have no real values in life. They know that there is a group of people who will give them everything they have because they believe that, oh, this person will get me what I want, will get me socialism, when all this person's doing is lining his own pocket. The funny thing is people on the outside can see it. The people who are been integrated into his cult can't see it. Can't see that they're basically paying a capitalist, giving money to a capitalist who says he's a socialist.
Let's make it happen. Let's do it. I don't think that was as firm as I thought it was. Maybe. Hey, maybe. He announced it. He announced it. It's over. We're doing it. Speaking from personal experience, there are a lot of people who will immediately hate him if he associates with you whatsoever. Yeah, okay. Like, those people are going to vote Democrat ever again, brother. Megaphonics, you're talking about your parents. They're already out. They're already out on the party.
Yeah, well, hopefully he grew a brain cell and learned to avoid Hassan here. Now, if he does actually end up going on his stream, it would just be more content, right? But I feel like he'd be wise to avoid Hassan or, you know, pull out Bernie Sanders and give him about 5 minutes just to embarrass him even more.
As he tries to get a
really
pen.
make California any worse, but never say never, you know? Hassan will find a way to do the impossible, of course. Look how quick he loves him once he hears he would come on. Literal Clout Goblin cares about nothing except Clout. Yeah, I think his community wants him to, like, confront him and be, like, really mean and just sort of, you know, be antagonistic. But Hassan is also desperate to get more followers and more attention, and this guy's, like, a path to that, right? Right, so Mizkif is back, and he is crying on stream, absolutely breaking down. Apparently, Demon Time didn't really work out very well. Of course, Mizkif said that he was going to destroy everybody and ruin every streamer's career. He doesn't care anymore. He's going, Demon Time!
I will expose everything about every person that you've ever known, and it is time to go full demon time.
But apparently, it backfired and he is losing his mind now. Now, quick context, streamer Emiru accused Mizkif of SA blackmail and abuse, and Mizkif is now suing her and Asmongold for defamation.
I'm finally going to be opening up about the psychological and domestic abuse, stalking and harassment, sexual assault, and threats of blackmail that Mizkif has done towards me.
And now there have been some updates in the ongoing defamation case, and it ended up with Mizkif breaking down crying here. Shout out to WestJet for surviving the dreaded plushie attack. Reminder, this bozo was going after the...
That's because the cult member's entire personal identity is based on the identity of the group. Yeah, yeah. And I hate that. I hate that mindset. We are not the Borg. We are not the insects. We are not a hive mind. We are just not. We are human beings. We each are completely individual of one another. Can we find common ground with people we don't agree with? Absolutely. Can we find common ground with people who refuse to accept you if they just find one thing out of line? No. Absolutely not. That's the big problem with the whole thing, is like that mindset is so elitist. So my way is the only way, and you can't have that. You literally can't have that mindset. But it seems to work in both extremes, especially in the US. You go to the far right and they're incredibly deranged, incredibly short-sighted, and incredibly cult-minded. You go to the very far left where you find Hassan Piker leading a cult, incredibly deranged, incredibly, it's just the same exact thing. The same exact thing. And guess what? They hate the same exact things for the most part as well. It's crazy. It's crazy. And it's just so disrespectful. Absolutely disrespectful. But I've been enjoying this legendary series for almost a year now. It's like on episode 290 and they're almost daily. And it's just insane seeing like the self-destruction of these people. Just seeing them kind of destroy themselves.
The both of us for being fair and neutral when covering SA allegations. And now he's realizing exactly why you need to be neutral and not say things as confirmed facts. Absolute regard.
Massive date for the unemployed. There are revelations in the Mizkif versus Emiru lawsuit, and Mizkif was crying.
And although she defines it as sexual assault, a reasonable viewer would unquestionably understand that the term is her own description of what happened to her. The viewer is not left to guess as the nature of the assault based solely on the term sexual assault. Yes. This is what she wrote. This is the person that actually went live with 60,000 viewers and told everyone I her, made everyone stop talking to me for a year. This.
It's funny. It's just like he goes, "Oh, she went live," and then of course mentions the viewers because again he has the same kind of issue Hassan Piker. I don't know what it is. Like I don't think I enjoy seeing, like, I'm not gonna lie, I enjoy seeing it when I put out a video or I'm doing a stream and it's like, oh, people seem interested. It is enjoyable. But the thing is, I will never look at my numbers and compare it to like that of Asmongold or even Hassan Piker, because it's just like, I will never get there. It's just like, what's the point? I do it because I enjoy it. That's just how it should be. I wouldn't be like, the fact that he brings up the numbers first and foremost just shows you where his mind is at. Just shows you absolutely where his mind is at. Oh my gosh.
This is the person that did all this stuff, Chad.
She didn't backtrack. She even provided a full transcript of the story from her stream and did not retract a single part of it. There are at least 10 factual assertions in it, and Mizkif has not pleaded falsity as to a single one of them in his complaint. He appears to only want to argue about the label. Well, to be fair, SA is a pretty serious allegation, even for tech.
She literally says it was her emotional definition, not the definition of sexual assault.
But the funny thing is just like, yeah, it was her emotional definition. And then she went live, or he went live like 20 minutes later after she did her statement and admitted to everything. from his perspective, but at the same time, he admitted to everything. I mean, lawyer up and sue. You don't go live and admit to everything and then lawyer up and sue.
What the f live with this shit? Just like, what the f I do? Just sucks, Chad. Just sucks. Kills me. But it's been 4.5 months. I don't have a voice. Everyone took that voice from me. Everyone did. Everyone took that voice.
I am white, but yes, my first language
Here, with
is
the context
Spanish.
of the entire 90-minute live stream, it is clear that Shunk was telling her own emotional truth, explaining how the relationship came to an end and the struggles Shunk endured during the relationship.
Right, so basically Mizkif was trying to get her for defamation, and Emiru and her lawyer's defense is trying to argue that the SA was not a statement of fact, but rather how she experienced the situation and her sort of opinion about the event, and therefore it is not defamation. That is basically their defense. Now, from what I know, I don't think Emiru has filed any criminal charges against Mizkif, right? So this was all started by Emiru putting out these allegations on social media and then Mizkif suing her for defamation. Now, we presented the situation solely based on the facts in the previous episode, never once accused Mizkif of criminal activity, which is exactly how you should handle these situations. Simply say that he was accused, as we did, and present her allegations and his response. And his initial response definitely did not end up helping his case, considering he got memed online for complaining about plushies being thrown at him in the context of abuse.
But Emmy was also violent. She would throw clothes or plushies at me, and I punched holes in the walls or slammed doors in aggression.
He basically had a series of very poor responses, such as using the whole rabbit cage situation, which would imply that he was okay with this animal abuse all this time, and only sort of brought it up in order to get a one-up and an own on Emiru, right?
She completely neglected those rabbits, so much that many of them just die over 1 year of being around in my house. My cleaning ladies would clean them just because they felt terrible.
So basically, he didn't really do the best job at defending himself, which is why the internet sort of formed their opinion based on that. Not to mention, he corroborated some of the things the other side said as well. But yeah, these situations should always be left to the judge, the court, the lawyers, because obviously nobody was in the room, right? Nobody actually knows what happened at that time. You can only sort of psychoanalyze through the internet based on what you actually know about the person and based on their statements, but it's never good to come up with a definitive conclusion. But yeah, now Emiru is getting a bunch of backlash on Twitter, but people also still hate Mizkif, considering he's an insufferable jackass and has slandered so many people, including me, because he's just a dumbass, completely separate from the situation, right? This is just him uniquely being a dumbass in like different variety of situations. So then we got a bunch of people arguing over which side to be on, and people brought up how he handled the Tectone situation.
And if you've watched my coverage on Mizkif in the past, you'll also know that I never believed he actually committed a crime. I'm not going to accuse him of any crimes, obviously, but he is definitely guilty of being a cornball. That's a pretty messed up thing to do, man. Ruining his reputation and self-confidence for a petty point. The law needs to protect men from false accusations.
The thing is like, no matter what, people will take a side. People will take a side. When it comes to something like that, especially in society, the whole thing is like, even now, after there's like a lot of cases where guys will be falsely accused, a lot of people will believe the women first, because it's just easier, because in most people's minds, let's be honest, there is no equality. Women are weaker. That's just fact. Statistically, women are weaker. So when you hear SA or a woman claim SA, it's easier to understand and believe than, and then the guy has to come forward and be like, this is why it's not. But that's the problem, is like we're instinctively wired to believe the woman until we hear otherwise. And we've been working against that recently, because so many cases are just false. Look at what happened to, I think his name is Turkey Tom. He was falsely accused at like the end of the year, last year. And then in January, he brought forth all the evidence proving, oh, everything she was saying, she said that I did, it was actually her doing everything. But that's the thing, it's just like people immediately were like, oh, Turkey Tom is this evil person, is just making videos and hit pieces on him just because. And he lost a lot of fan bases because of it, because of an outright lie. But that's the thing, it's just like instinctively we tend to believe the woman. And in this situation, it's so easy to dislike Mizkif. And it's so at the same time, it's like difficult to find which one. Now, if it was someone like Pokimane, I could see most people being like, no, we don't believe it, because she's so obnoxious. She has so many skeletons in her closet that only her simps would be like, oh. But when it comes to someone like Emiru, who's just done her thing, not really gotten in any kind of turmoil, it's different. It's completely different. So people will pick a side and then be there. I think the only side is, oh, Mizkif did it, or he didn't do it, but he's a douchebag anyway. That's literally the only two sides.
Miz is not the victim in this situation, no matter how hard you try to spin it. Mizkif is a sociopathic jackoff and an abuser. Yeah, he mistreated Emiru. It's pretty obvious. No one feels sorry for him.
So bad, but Emmy was also violent. She would throw clothes or plushies at me, and I punched holes in the walls or slammed doors in aggression.
It's just so hard to take Mizkif seriously because his response to the initial drama was
Yep,
so terrible.
simultaneously streaming everywhere.
Anyone was willing to give him. Reddit ain't buying it either. Man's getting worse at fake crying each time he does it. He is a serial liar and still bad at it. It's so obvious he belongs on Kick with acting this bad.
I will expose everything about every person that you've ever known. But it's been 4.5 months. I don't have a voice. Everyone took that voice from me. Everyone did.
This guy said demon time, demon wine. Right? If he didn't do the whole demon time bit, I feel like the internet would be much more sympathetic towards his cause. He made himself the butt end of the joke.
Full demon time.
Mizkif around calling Tectone a talking and making fun of him. Now crying on stream like a little bitch because he's getting the same treatment Tectone did. Womp womp. No one listens to me. You literally did the same thing to Tectone. How about you shut the up, you useless waste of space?
Listen, I think it's really important to separate the situations. So Mizkif is a colossal piece of shit, okay? This is separate from his beef with Emiru. Now, about the Emiru situation, this is something the court needs to handle, and if Mizkif is actually right, then he's probably going to win the defamation case and end up clearing his name. Now, there is another problem with that, is that when you get accused of SA on the internet, a large portion of people will sort of jump the gun, of course, and that ends up being the problem where you may not be able to fully fix your reputation, even if innocent. But again, it's no surprise that not many people have sympathy for Mizkif when he is especially cruel to other people. For example, when Charlie Kirk died, he was making a bunch of jokes, having a lovely time.
But yeah, I'm glad he's dead. I'm just kidding. Or am I? No, I'm kidding. Am I? I don't. Well, no, I'm just kidding. Is this a dream of yours?
Alex,
Is he dead?
give him another one. Give us another one of your jokes quick. Something that could possibly be worse.
I have a plan to just tweet in like 6 months from now, Charlie Kirk is dead.
When Tectone had his situation, Mizkif was obviously ecstatic. He was trying to expose him as much as possible. When that chibi guy was about to neck himself, Mizkif was also enjoying himself.
Best friend 10 years. He knew it.
Yeah, so what happened with this guy is his I think wife or fiance cheated on him with his best friend. Like his best friend. And then he was literally about to take his own life, and then someone had like a wellness check done on him. Yeah, it is. And then it seemed like it's funny, the Mizkif, Hassan Pikers, the always the same. We're laughing at it. We're laughing at it. It's like, no, I mean, that would be absolutely devastating. I mean, I can sympathize with that. I mean, I could imagine how I would feel if my wife had done something like that to me and my best friend was involved. I mean, I wouldn't take my own life, but I would be in prison for murder. Let's just say that. But that's just how it is. It's absolutely disgusting. But a lot of these people can't seem to look. They just look at an enemy or seeing the downfall of someone else and go like, ha, I don't have it that bad. That's what it is. Instead of being like, oh my gosh, that's sad. That's sad.
He knew my life story. I thought he had my back.
No, if he knows your life story, then I'd probably leave you too. Chibi, what does that make you think about yourself, buddy? That everyone that knew you doesn't want to be around you. That everyone that knew you and knew you the most thinks that the guy that cheated on with your wife is a better person and better to hang out with. What does that tell you, Chibi, about yourself as a person?
And then, randomly, out of nowhere, he started crashing out at me and WestJet for doing absolutely nothing, literally being neutral when covering allegations and waiting for the actual evidence, which is exactly what I did when talking about him or any other allegations as well. Now, the only time I was not neutral was completely separate from the allegations. It was when Mizkif decided to get on stream and make a video completely shitting on me for literally nothing. And I shit on him back for trying to slander me, for lying about me, saying that I'm protecting SA abusers, that I'm protecting this horrible group or these PDF files and all the shit. He obviously had a good friend of 8 years, Lakari, being exposed for potentially being a PDF file and consuming potentially illegal material.
How can you possibly say the word potentially? He had a notepad with 2 different things. These guys do no research. He had a note.
Yeah, it is potential. It is potential. He's not a detective. He can't say with certainty until there's actually been a court case and a verdict. I don't think Mizkif really understands that. It's everything's alleged, everything's potential. We are not all Hassan Piker who literally just states something and then the cult audience believes it's fact. No, it's a lot of the stuff is just alleged, accused. There's no proof.
Notepad with 2 different notepads. Are you kidding me? You're going to defend and say potentially for that guy? And look, I understand if you want to say that, like, allegedly, and like, this is not it, we don't know for sure.
You're defending him. I can't believe you're defending Lakari. Brother, what is wrong with you? Like, can you comprehend the English language? Can you actually make out tones in a video? Can you actually look at my previous videos, maybe, to see my actual stance on the situation? I think he's guilty for sure. I saw that clip. I saw his explanation. It was complete garbage, right? And the only reason I used the word potentially was just to be extra safe in my little quick recap there. Just another way to say the word allegedly or whatever, because I just don't want to make definitive statements about stuff. So the fact that this guy legitimately thought that I was defending him based on one word is actually insane, Brent. And based on my personal experience.
Yeah, I mean, I basically do the same exact thing with history. It's just like, well, this is what is believed to have happened. I mean, I'll never say with wholeheartedly what exactly happened because, well, I don't know. I don't personally know, But it's just like, is there evidence one way or the other? Sure. But you have to wait till all of the ducks are in a row, as it were.
With him, I'd say he's objectively a horrible person, right? And when people just generally don't like you, it is really hard to get a dub on the internet, I feel like, and nobody's gonna have sympathy for you when you've done all this horrible shit. So then Westjet points out how Mizkif has turned his channel into a drama sort of slop channel when he was shitting on us for doing the exact same thing.
Mizkif laughs about me almost 2 weeks ago, excited I lost everything. And Mizkif calls me a over fiction and helps people to harass me. Mizkif now cries about being called a by content creators for months. People trying to say I should feel bad for him. Nah.
You know, well, she didn't really take anything back, she said. It's her emotional feelings on how it happened. So therefore, like, dude, what the like, you guys are willing to bury me to the ground on just absolutely nothing and try to make it seem like I'm some monster. And she's lying about, she's lying about these things. She's been lying about all this stuff. And you guys are just like, yep, well, we're just gonna keep listening. Sure, we don't know what this really means, though. What? We know what it means.
You know what the hilarious thing is? He could be the most innocent person in the world, and people would still not give a shit because they're just fed up with Mizkif. And his own audience is turning on him. He turned his YouTube channel into a slop channel. And dislike bars are crazy. People are genuinely tired of this dude.
Oh my god, that is tragic, bro. Is that like organic without having like any drama with anyone? Just people just naturally hate you? That's crazy, bro. But I love how Mizkif was shitting on me for making drama videos, going, oh my god, you've made so many Hassan videos. You rely on Hassan to pay your rent, which is objectively not true. I could farm anyone else any day of the week if I wanted. It just so happens that I choose to farm Hassan, and idiots like you, desperate to revive his career using this sort of stuff and latching onto any—
That's what all of you drama slop YouTubers have been doing for years about Hassan. You literally were probably the same YouTuber that made like 500 videos about Hassan shocking his dog nonstop because you desperately want to hold on to it so you can change your fucking room color from when you were a fucking child to finally turn into something that actually makes sense. He has hundreds of videos on Hassan. Oh my god, are you kidding me? Half your videos are about Hassan. Oh, of course this makes perfect sense now. Desperately trying to hold on, dude. Half your videos are about Hassan.
That's the legendary series. It's
this guy was
great.
saying my life sucks. I hate my life, right? And I'm forced to do this for the money, of course. And now he's trying to be like me, except 100 times worse. 100 times worse in every single way possible. He's trying to be like the Walmart's version of me, and he's completely failing at even that. Holy shit, dude. I mean, bro is gonna go, demon time! Never say demon time in front of Mizkif. He's gonna lose his fucking mind. He's gonna say it's not funny while his entire chat is fucking laughing their ass off, obviously. So yeah, I'm just confused how you go from demon time to crying on stream like a little bitch. Maybe you shouldn't have slandered a bunch of people then, should ya? Now anyways, my personal thoughts on the situation are, if Emiru did end up lying, then she should absolutely face the consequences, and if Mizkif is guilty, then so should he. Now the fact of the matter is, I don't know the fucking truth of the situation. I don't know what happened there. You basically have to form your opinion based on the court results, or basically whatever you think about them online, right? Based on their own statements, I suppose. But let me be clear, none of this changes the fact that Mizkif is a fucking loser. People responded, the plushie situation cannot be this bad. The plushies and pillows left brain damage. Why is bro crying like the Logan Paul Forrest apology? Emiru's lawyer just threw a plushie at Mizkif. Iran versus USA Yan. Mizkif versus plushies. He's guilty of being a terrible actor. Wow, that fake crying was terrible. Holy shit, nobody's buying this. Wow. Anyways, here we are on Twitter. Mizkif tears up on stream over Emiru's emotional truth court filing. Women will falsely accuse you of rape and be like, I'm sorry for ruining your life. Have no sympathy for this man. He cheered on my misery a few weeks ago, called me a pedo over fictional content. The audacity of him being upset being called a rapist but calling me a PDF over anime. He should have some self-reflection. Vile psycho and karmic justice. We got the fresh and fit guy. Sue her into the ground, Mizkif. Women, blah, blah, blah. Of course, this guy was gonna go about the women, of course. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's a Emiru versus Mizkif situation. A streamer on streamer battle. I don't think it, represents all women or men here. Imagine we are represented by streamers. We're so fucked. In my mind, I feel you raped me. Man gets entire life, career, reputation, brand, and livelihood destroyed because a woman was salty. She lied. Her shitty relationship failed. There's no justice for men in modern society. Honestly, she is right. Miz might not be an actual rapist, but he's almost as bad regardless. Being an a-hole is not a crime. Mizkif went on livestream, admitted to doing what she accused him of, literally admitted to DV this stuff, reckless driving, behavior changes. Fact you're taking Mizkif's side is pathetic. You mean normal a-hole behavior but no actual abuse? Him being angry and throwing things, stopping when she says no, using substances on his own body and speeding isn't great. Okay, yeah, people just keep going back.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's just like, in the end, she said what she believed, like the situation that happened, and she literally described her assault. And that was in between them being in a relationship, breaking up, and being in a relationship again, if I think that's right. And he did all that apparently to try and comfort her, and she didn't want that. And then he up and leaves. I mean, does that sound like, no, he just got the signals all confused, or just, yeah, felt the urge, I guess. I don't know. Does it sound weird? Yes, it really does. But is that assault? It depends on how she felt in the moment. In the end, a lot of that has to do with, what does the woman feel? How does she feel in that moment? Because again, men have far more power over women in most situations, especially when it comes to physically. We can easily overpower women.
Back and forth and back and forth. That's not a real quote. She never said he raped her. She said he touched her when they were fighting. Literally nobody likes this dude. Why are you making up fake quotes to defend him? Women are not good people. Okay, we're reaching that part of Twitter. Time to leave. He lost his voice. Dude hasn't shut up since last October. Demon time! Demon time cries. Moving on to attorney legal mindset's assessment of the situation. So first she starts by going through Emiru's statements, particularly the ones that mention SA.
Crime of SA generally requires some sort of physical contact, right? So that's something that's going to be required. And as of yet, we do not have any injunction or criminal complaint against Mizkif that's been filed for SA. But which brings us to the problem. The problem is, looking at Emiru's statements in the transcript, she used the language of SA at least 3 times during her main speech, which you can go through. And these are now Emiru's defense here, and this is the position she filed in this recent filing, is that under Texas law, even a verifiably false statement is not defamation if the context reveals the statement was a reflection of an opinion, not a statement of fact.
So
they're trying to
she's
lean on
fine.
the fact of saying, hey, this was more of an opinion than a statement of fact.
Right, so basically the lawyers are arguing that the SA was her opinion because she felt that she was SA'd, or possibly she's arguing this specifically to win the defamation case, and it's not something she actually believes. Regardless, it's obviously angered a lot of people because there's a lot of cases of people lying and trying to ruin other people's lives over this. Now, I feel like if she thought she could have won an SA case, she would probably try to have him criminally charged, but oftentimes in these cases, it's harder to get any evidence of it as well, so it doesn't end up happening. So likely she didn't believe she had strong enough evidence to win, or just didn't want to take legal action for another reason, who really knows. But if you remember, she did actually anticipate Mizkif would be taking legal action against her for these statements, right? She actually said on stream that I expect Mizkif to sue me for this.
I would not be surprised if he tries to sue me for the stream that I did today and for coming out about him. Not because he thinks that he would win, but for PR reasons, like a slap lawsuit.
So I'd imagine that she would come prepared and, you know, be prepared to win this defamation case. Well, obviously, defamation cases are also notoriously harder to win, especially when they're against public figures as well. So then it goes on to explain that basically all of this hinges on the fact that she used the word SA, right? And normally, when you use the word SA, it is in a criminal context. Now, it turns out, as we just learned, you can use it as an opinion statement as well. I guess that flies in court, but regardless, online, the damage is done in terms of the internet or whatever. But still, it's not a slam dunk for Mizkif, because the thing is, you have to prove actual malice here.
Problem, or fundamental problem, is that she repeated those words and also used them in the context of other crimes. And that would leave an implication that it was the criminal definition, right? And even if it wasn't, once again, we go back to Texas law, there's the imputation of serious sexual misconduct, which can also be defamation per se. However, here's the problem for me.
The court of public opinion is one of the worst things. Like, seriously, people will immediately be seen as right or wrong, just depending on how they feel in that moment. Yeah, right men and right women make this world. Yes. Yes. Yes, they're the ones that actually have the guile and individuality to actually make something of themselves. If I know what you mean by right. Now, if you mean left, they just expect everything to be done for them.
Mizkif, and this is not just a clear thing where Mizkif is at the complete advantage. They're public figures, and the burden is on Mizkif to prove that Emiru did this with malice. So that is a higher standard. So essentially, Mizkif needs to prove that Emiru knew that this didn't fit the definition of SA and said it anyway. Said, I know he didn't do this. I knew what that was. I said it maliciously, and he's got to prove that by clear and convincing evidence, which is a higher bar at the civil level. Usually it's preponderance of the evidence, which is a lower standard. It's got to meet a clear and convincing standard. That's very difficult for anybody to hit as a public figure, and going up to hit that clear and convincing standard. So Mizkif doesn't have an easy ride here.
Right,
That's a
so
creepy
basically Mizkif would have to
stuffed
prove that
animal in the
Emiru
back.
knowingly lied, right? Maliciously lied. She would have had to known that it was not SA and still said that it was. But the loophole here is that if she believed that it was SA, then it would not be defamation because she believed that and did it non-maliciously, right? Now, God knows how if that makes sense or how the fuck you prove any of that. That's why we leave it to the lawyers, to the
Yep.
court. That's why we don't delve deeper.
That's
into
why
this
you
stuff.
pay the
Nobody's
big bucks
qualified
for a
here.
lawyer.
But this is the surface level of what's actually going on here. Now, who ends up winning the case, we will find out later as well. It depends on like the standards he actually has to prove here and how well Emiru's lawyers argue back in this case. Now, keep in mind, he's not only suing Emiru. This involves Asmongold as well. Now, the thing about Asmongold is that he sort of just used the words that Mizkif did in the first place. So it's probably not going to work well for Mizkif, according to legal mindset.
So in my judgment, Asmongold can still likely gain a dismissal. I think he has very good grounds for that, and nothing about Emiru's defense changes his chances from being good with a dismissal. However, Emiru is in a difficult position, a much more difficult position than Asmongold comparatively, because she repeatedly used that word.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like Asmongold may actually get off of this scot-free, possibly because he's not the one who actually accused him of all this stuff, right? Now, it's definitely way harder for Emiru because she did use the word SA and did it multiple times as well. But I do find it hilarious that Mizkif's reputation is so bad that even if he gets completely cleared his name off of SA, that people still hate him. People still hate his guts because he is organically a piece of shit separately from the situation, unrelated to all of this. And what I find interesting is Mizkif keeps going, oh, you ruined my career, and that, yes, that's partly true, but it's partly you as well. Your career was completely falling off a cliff before all of this, right? If you weren't such a scumbag lashing out at random people who are just being neutral in the situation, people would probably be more sympathetic to you. He responded he lost everything because everyone in Austin figured out his numbers were fake and no point trying to leeching and take his abuse when they could just bot themselves. His crying is fake as fuck. The Emiru DMs were tough though, simply blackmailing during the WoW era, telling her your tanking was so rude and mean to tell her when she was totally uncomfortable and had higher viewership. Yeah, so these are like separate issues as well. SA is a completely separate issue from maybe being a bad boyfriend or emotional abuse or even blackmail or whatever, right? So these are all separate issues to be evaluated.
Well, I think when it comes to SA and why she feels like something is SA, she could easily rope in, like that's the issue I think Mizkif would have in the courtroom, especially since there is so much history of like emotional abuse. Like he texts, bombarding messages, insulting, you know, degrading, all that kind of stuff can go into evidence through discovery. And then guess what? Even though it wouldn't be SA, because all this other stuff he had done to her, she is of fear of SA, which is why it is liable, and it works in this situation why she says it. That's the risk there, because there is so much history there.
Separately, I feel like. Miz is the strongest case of a victim complex I've ever seen. He currently has a less than 1% chance of ever growing up. I don't even consider what he did as SA, but I find it hard to feel sorry for a guy like him. He's still a piece of shit for all the other shit he's done, even if he's not an abuser or SAer. He deserves to be where he is. This is essentially most of the internet's response to this. Moving on to Hassan's defamation case against the New York City councilwoman. Now, recap, Hassan was apparently suing someone for literally saying what he said in a video. Right, so here we got Vicky, the New York City council member, responding. Hassan Piker is telling his followers to make self-bombing drones. Be on the lookout for a defamation suit, councilwoman. So Legal Mindset responded.
Explosive ordnance delivery mechanisms that you can put to a DJI drone.
Literally, once again, promoting this right there. I wonder if he learned this on his recent trip to China, if this is something that was dropped into him while he was there, but explaining a very clear way in which people can go out there, his followers, anybody who's watching him, including, by the way, people he's had on his own show, like the Houthi pirate, right, that might be willing to do this or interested in doing this. So definitely giving a clear roadmap for someone who wants to follow that. He argues that...
Yeah, he's given instructions on what to actually do in order to, well, do an assault.
This is distinct from Ethan Klein's copyright case.
2 times speed? No. 1.5.
So racism, that makes it a better defamation case, right? Wrong. Defamation does not examine the occupation or even the biases of a person. You can have a person who's out there like Uncle Ruckus, and it really doesn't matter if what they're saying is true. In this case, these are all self-statements of Hassan. Hassan made these statements, went out there, promoted the Shahi drone, said it's only tens of thousands of dollars. It's only, $10,000. Hassan Piker clearly made a statement promoting drone warfare and terrorist attacks. There's no getting around that. That's pretty clear. And this is a person who does have those known associations with terrorists, as Vicky Pandino mentioned.
It is funny how you can say, oh, you know someone's income when they say, oh, it's only $10,000. That's more than a quarter of what I make in a year. Oh my gosh. It's only $10,000.
Luffy, the Houthi pirate guy. Overall, Hassan has almost no chance of victory here, given his self-statements and his past association.
God damn, no chance of victory is diabolical. I don't think a lawyer ever says that. Most of the time, I feel like 99% of the time, they're like, yeah, it could probably go either way. Here's the facts of the situation. Here's this, there's that,
he's
here's
not
the counter
gonna
argument.
sue.
Like he was covering the Mizkif Emiru thing. But like with Hassan, it's like, god damn, this shit is so bad. He has no chance of winning. Oh my lord, that is absolutely tragic. What a flippin' loser. Who would have thought, guys? Who would have thought denying what you literally said on camera is not an acceptable strategy? You know what I really want to see? I want to see Hassan sue someone for saying that he shocked his dog. That would be absolutely hilarious, right? Because he's gonna have to try to convince the judge he didn't shock his dog, and then we can play the entire fucking series. We can play every single instance of evidence and absolutely cook him in court. That would be cinema, dude. Oh my god. Please let that timeline be a thing. The real-time humiliation ritual. Absolute cinema. Who responded? It's baffling Hassan Piker hasn't been arrested. Calls to violence and animal cruelty should be super illegal. Well, surely on episode 1000. Surely. I sincerely hope Hassan is on an FBI watch list, because if not, what are we doing here? I mean, after that China Clout, I don't know, bro. I don't know. I feel like some...
Well, it's... I was expecting a lot from Kash Patel. He's completely failed. I mean, the first thing people were expecting from him was the Epstein files. That's the first thing people were expecting and wanted. He dropped the ball on that, and now nobody even is just like, oh, it's just Kash Patel. He's not gonna get anything done. It's the FBI director. He's not gonna get anything done. It is completely like no one thinks anything's gonna happen. I mean, a lot of assaults that do take place on U.S. soil are obviously already known to the government, because there is a record or history of these people. Like it happened not that long ago where a person was wearing like a Property of Allah shirt, like right when the war started, or Yeah, and he went up and killed like 2 people and shot up several others. And, well, he had a history of declaring hatred towards America, yet nothing happened. Nothing happened. The U.S. did absolutely nothing. The FBI did absolutely nothing. So they just allow this stuff to propagate and continue.
Somebody needs to watch this guy. If I have to gamble, I would put my money on Hassan would chicken out, not filing lawsuit for defamation, and give BS excuses for not doing it. I really don't understand how Hassan hasn't been arrested yet. Nobody does, man. This guy has like level 99 immunity from consequences. I don't know how many years he can keep dodging this shit, but you know, I'll keep farming him until it happens. Maybe even farm him from inside prison. Who knows? I wonder if they let him stream from there, then surely. Can't wait for Hassan's DIY drone tutorial. Now click this video or
Yeah. I always enjoy more Pegasus. I've been following the Legendary series for a while. It's one of those that it's just like no matter what, like you can go back and rewatch it, because especially with stuff that happens. I mean, even like the war going on, even like sadly like Charlie Kirk's assassination, or the him stalking his dog, going back and just being like, oh my gosh, everything was like foreshadowing what was gonna happen in the world. Like, it was just completely foreshadowing.
You guys got a video? Why is it so bad?
And don't forget to like and subscribe.
Why is it like that?